I did add myself. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Missouri Tigers Live. I am Zach here at the voice of college football, ready to talk Mizzou football for the next. We're not going to go too terribly long today because all of you are going to want to watch the national championship, as am I. I'm excited for that game. I got a buddy that works for the University of Florida, and I'm a huge fan of Houston and Kelvin Sampson and what they've done in recent years. So, guys, we're getting a little closer to the part of the year where I start to really miss college football. Please like and subscribe to the video, like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to all our channels, guys. Where this is Missouri, the voice of college football. You can find me at the link here. Find the Twitter account there. You can follow me. I can't hit buttons. God, even my new laptop's mouse stinks. Zach Miller, you can find me at PsychoZ50, where I can ramble about everything except the St. Louis Cardinals, because what's the point of that? They suck, and much to the surprise of everybody. The college football show, with Mark Rogers, Monday. Watch Mark covers everything from your least favorite team to your favorite team, and who doesn't like to hear about what's going on with their least favorite team? Unless it's Kansas. Because who cares what's going on with Kansas? But do I want to know what Tennessee's doing? Yeah. And if you care that much about Tennessee's doing, you can always go follow the Voice of College Football Tennessee. Those guys do a wonderful job. Subscribe to the Alabama channel. If you're a Tennessee fan, you want to figure out what those damn Crimson Tide are up to. Those guys do an awesome job after taking over from my goofy butt after running there for a little while. You can find all of our shows at the Voice of College Football. Check out the content. Check out the live college football content every day. It's April 7th, guys. The national championship for basketball is here. Basketball's over. I know a lot of people like college baseball. Mizzou should abolish their baseball program. So whatever there. But, softball's fun, and I know people are into the transfer portal in basketball. Guys, we're getting close to like May and into June. We're like, it's time to start ramping up. It's time to start getting ready for some college football. You can follow Mark Rogers at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Guys, there's so many teams, so many programs. You can catch your voice of college football program anywhere you want. Like, subscribe, super chats are appreciated. Come on, guys. Do you want to be a part of something that's growing or not? But we are here to talk about the Missouri Tigers. And because there is no spring game, because there's just not a lot to really talk about in terms of what we see on the field, we got to talk about the quarterback competition once again between Sam Horn. So we'll talk about, actually, there is one thing to talk about. As the spring portal hits, I think Mizzou is expecting some losses. I think they are expecting some guys to hit the portal, and it's going to happen in spring ball. People are going to see kind of where they are in the depth chart. What shirt am I wearing? Oh, Batman. New 52 Batman. And people are going to take off, and that's okay. An example of this would be Drew Pyne. Drew Pyne, look, we will always have November 9th, 2024, when he threw for 3 touchdowns against the Oklahoma Sooners, and Missouri won the football game. Thanks to the defense, but they won the football game. He's transferring to Bowling Green, so once again, the Bowling Green Falcons will have a former Missouri Tigers quarterback for the 3rd year in a row. Yeah, let's see, because Bazelak went to Mizzou to Indiana. He's at Bowling Green for 2. He was at Mizzou in 2021, 22. Yeah, so he was at Bowling Green for 2, and now they'll have Drew Pyne. And it's an interesting situation for Drew. he'd kind of made the rounds in college football. I know we talked a lot about Drew Pine during the regular season, but he did play at Notre Dame, and he was 8-2 as a starter. Like, he wasn't a bad quarterback. He's obviously not a very good quarterback, like at this level, but I don't think with reps or anything he's awful. He struggled against Alabama. Go figure. He's just not a starter at this level, but he was okay at Notre Dame. I went to Arizona State. That program was a crap show for the most part while he was there. God bless Kenny Dillingham. Not Kenny Dillingham. Yeah, Kenny Dillingham. He's a great coach. Obviously did a great job this year with Leavitt. I really enjoy what they do at Arizona State, and we'll see what happens for the Sun Devils moving forward. But he comes to Mizzou. He was supposed to be the third starter. They needed another quarterback once Sam Horn got hurt in playing baseball. And in the spring portal, I don't know if you guys know this, but pickings are slim, especially when it's a guy that is going to be a backup quarterback. There was no expectation that he was it's hard, I assume, to recruit a quarterback knowing the hope is you never touch the field. It's just a hard thing to do. And I think Drew Pine came in. I think he provided a solid voice, but he might have been fourth on the depth chart behind Zollers, behind obviously Pribula, and behind Sam Horn. It is what it is. You're going to lose guys. What did he do as a starter? Let's see. He lost to Bama. He didn't start that game, but then he beat OU. That's it. That's all he really played. And, good luck to him at Bowling Green. I'll root for him. There's no point in rooting against Drew Pine. He came in and he was a warrior from Mizzou. He just wasn't ready to play it at this level. He just isn't able to play at this level for a consistent period of time. So, hopefully he does well. Mizzou at quarterback, I think it's going to be, you don't give Pribula the money they're rumored to give him. The number is not actually out there. I've heard people say $2 million for 2 years, so $1 million a year. I've seen 1.5. The number's not out there, known. Some of the stuff will never be known. There's a good argument that it should be known, but it is what it is. I don't really care. Although I will say with some of this NIL stuff, it is starting to feel harder and harder to feel bad for these kids, especially the older guys. When Mizzou would lose an NCAA tournament game or lose a big football game, you just felt awful for the players. And now it's you didn't perform. You're a professional. Come on. I'm not all the way there yet, but I hear people talk about that, and I'm I don't blame you for feeling that way, but it is what it is. Next, we'll go ahead and talk about recruiting. I have this updated via 247's powermizzou.com. I want to be fair. I also want to give you the correct information. I can take as many notes as I want, but I do work 46 hours a week, and it's a job I have to pay attention, so I can't always be scrolling the websites and thinking about everything when I want to, as much as I'd love to. But Danny Beal is a defensive lineman from Arkansas. He's been very high on Mizzou's list. He might be number 2 behind Jackson Cantwell when it comes to and we talked about Cantwell last week. So when it comes from the class of 26, Beal just did take a trip to North Carolina. Obviously, why wouldn't you? With Bill Belichick there now. He has an official visit with Arkansas. He is an Arkansas kid. He has an Ole Miss visit. The 26 class is so weird because so many times with Mizzou, a lot of these things are big and bombastic. And last year we were 3 months away from, a couple years ago we were a couple months away from the new Neri recruitment, and just every day it was OU's taking the lead and Mizzou's taking the lead. He could go to Georgia, and look at now it doesn't matter because he's in Nebraska. So it's one of those things where it's great, but But also Khalif Canty from Detroit. He is a Missouri target. He visited for a practice. He's coming for an official visit in June. He's also visiting North Carolina. He's taking visits to Penn State, Michigan State, and Pitt. He's a Detroit kid, so you got to worry about Michigan State. You got to worry about Penn State. Obviously, with Bill Belichick at North Carolina, it is hard not to worry about the North Carolina. Like, they're going to be – I think it was just Chip Patterson over at CBS Sports talked about, like, this year Bill's going to win. They're going to win games just because Bill's going to bother, these quarterbacks. But he's like 26 is more the year where I think they're going to try and win a lot of football games. They may win like 7-8 football games next year. But it is what it is. Bennett Frazier, interior offensive lineman from Kirksville. He was at Kansas State this past weekend. He's he's a 3-star kid. He's like one of their backup targets to Cantwell. He visited Kentucky. Again, not a lot of noise around some of these guys. It looks like it's going to be a Mizzou-Kansas State battle. He took a picture with Chris Kleiman and all that. So we'll see what happens there. But we're not done with offensive line targets because there's Landry. I believe it's I only see these names red. He wants to visit Landry, Brede. He wants to visit. He's talking to. I don't think he's any visits planned from. Okay, let me just. All right, there's my notes. NC State, Kentucky, Northwestern. Looks like Cincinnati and Pitt. I did put Cincy. I don't know why I spelled Cincinnati, Zach. Another guy, Kenny Golston. Like, he's an athlete. These are just some of these kids that, and his brother in the class of 27. There's the 26 class. I know people are starting to get a little concerned because Mizzou does not have a ton of action, and their big stud defensive lineman that they signed is going to take a trip to Tennessee, which is always concerning because, that's not good. You kind of want you don't want your guys visiting other places, especially places like Tennessee, because Tennessee has a chance to be really, really damn good next year. They've got some quarterback options. Jet Thamalia is kind of their main target. He's a top 230 kid. A lot of people think he's going to go to Iowa State. I believe he has a crystal ball for Iowa State. They have a couple 3-stars that they're looking at. It's tough. We talked about this when we talked about Zollers. For Mizzou this year, recruiting a quarterback's going to be hard. There is a lot of talk around Zollers. He was, he's a 5-star on 3. He's a 4-star everywhere else. He's the guy. So if you're coming in the 26th class, you're like, okay, my best hope is I start in 2 years. That's tough to sell on any of these kids, especially like a higher rated kid. It's going to be difficult for Mizzou to get a quarterback this year. I'm not surprised that a lot of their targets seem to be kind of whiffing. Keenan Harris from SLU. Mizzou was one of the first programs to really reach out to him. He's a safety. We'll see there. It's hard to pinpoint because he's taking a visit to OU. So it's hard to pinpoint like who's Mizzou's next commit going to be. Could it be Titan Davis from St. Louis? He plays at DeSmet. But he's got officials to Michigan. He's got an official to Nebraska. He's got official to Alabama. And there's so many teams that are still in the hunt for him. It's just going to be the 26th class. I know people are upset that like there's not been a lot of movement so far. It's just going to be a hard. I'm sure it'll work out. Eli and Mizzou have put a program in place where they're going to do a good enough job recruiting to win football games. Now, it's not going to be good enough if your expectation is to win national championships, and we've talked about that for God knows how long. But it's just gonna be difficult to get a quarterback, which is going to be like your headliner. And it's going to be difficult to piece together any sort of amazing class once we start getting to a like past signing day. That's the thing, though. We still do have 8 months until signing day. So as much panic as you guys want to have, like there's no reason for it. We have 8 months. A lot of these kids have not even thought, like they're still taking visits. We still have a whole fall season before anything happens. Mizzou did get a commitment from DeMonte Timms. He's a 3-star safety. There's a top 1,000 kid, good for Mizzou. See if he develops into something beyond his star level, which Mizzou has done a great job doing. He had offers from Vandy, Wisconsin, Indiana, UCF, Ole Miss, Pitt, the run-of-the-mill, like not quite the elite schools, but schools that, are super competitive. They do have a bunch of targets lined up. I know recruiting is just kind of the fun thing to talk about. They have a bunch of visits coming up in May and June. Anthony Kennedy is the kid I was talking about. He's a Mizzou commit, 4-star, top 500 recruit in the 247 consensus, but he does have official visit with Tennessee, Georgia, LSU, Arkansas. He also wants to take officials to some other kids that are committed elsewhere. Tennessee wide receiver commit Tyreek King wants to visit Mizzou. He also wants to visit Georgia. He's a 3-star receiver. He's kind of a speedy guy. Caden Harris, guy who's probably going to commit to Notre Dame or one of the elite schools. He talks about maybe taking a commit to Mizzou. Like, it's difficult to really pin down in April what Mizzou's going to do next as far as recruiting. So that's just kind of your spin through recruiting as you listen to Missouri Tigers Live. Please hit that like button, subscribe, tell your friends, come hang out. I know you go back and watch the videos that we did at the start of the channel. Look at my face then, look at my face now. I've lost almost 100 pounds. It's been awesome. What stupid thing am I going to say next? They're great games to play. But I wanted to play a game, and again, we have still 4 months until the season, so I'm not trying to use up all the content I have. So we'll just stick with one QB position. Because we could talk about that for a while. There was a video that went around Twitter of Luther Burden's vertical route tree, because that's been a concern with his coming up into the draft, is what can he run routes? Is he just a yak guy? So there was somebody put out a video on Twitter that was like, hey, here's Luther Burden's vertical route tree. This is every time he was down 15 or 20 yards plus downfield in 2024. They left out 2023 because he was really good in 2023. He put up massive numbers. They're like, so what happened? If you watch the video, does not look too kindly on Brady Cook. He whiffed on him quite a bit. So the question I think is a very real question. 2023 Brady Cook was awesome. He was. He's a great player. He was helped out by one of the best wide receiver corps in the country, and a great run game by a guy that finished top 10 in the Heisman voting, which is still insane to me that happened. But we did see 2 of 3 years Brady Cook was mediocre. God bless him. Warrior of a kid. Mizzou true son. What do you go as a starter? So let me think. So 6-6. I'm not counting bowl games. So let's see. 6-6. He started every game in 22. Let's see. What 11-2 last year. So we're up to 17-8. And then I don't want to count the Bama loss against him, but he did lose that one. So 8-2 because they lost to Bama. That loss counts against him. and they lost to Texas A&M. That loss definitely counts against them. So let's see, 17-6. So let's see, 8 wins plus 17 plus 11 wins is 19. So 25, 6, 8, 10. 25-10 as a starter. And then you include the bowl games where he went 2-1. So 27 and 11. If I'm wrong about that, please let me know. Like, that's a pretty good record. But we did see 2 of those years he played some really mediocre football. Can Mizzou have a QB upgrade? Because the wide receiving, there's not going to be a wide receiver upgrade. I highly doubt there's going to be an offensive line upgrade. So if Mizzou's going to have a successful season, there has to be a QB upgrade. Like Pribula, if he wins it, or if it's Sam Hartman, it's going to be Bo. They have to play good football. I think Bo Pribula adds some. We'll have plenty of time to talk about him. Add something to this Missouri offense that I'm not sure they've ever really had since James Franklin, which is a QB that can run. And I'm talking like 2011 James Franklin, where he was a tank and a freaking monster. I'm not talking about 2013 James Franklin, when he still would run, but he was very conservative with his running. Kelly Bryant basically came over to Mizzou because Derek Dooley told him he wouldn't have to run. He would be they would work on his NFL eligibility, and to be fair, or his NFL prospects. And to be fair, until that dirty play by a Troy linebacker, or was a defensive lineman, Kelly Bryant was awesome for Mizzou. That loss to Wyoming was not on him. He did fumble it, but whatever. Chase, like Brad was obviously a runner. Chase was not a runner. Blaine was not a runner. James, his first year was a runner. His second year, he had the injured shoulder, so he was just like, And then the third year, well, he was conservative with his running, but he'd still do it. I watched him truck a dude against Toledo. That was awesome. Mock never ran as much as you wanted him to. Locke, not a runner. Like, Locke could scramble for a first down. Like, maybe he could break out like a 15-yard run. At max, but like he was not a runner. Bryant, Bazelak, good Lord. How was he a triple option quarterback in high school? What was happening in Ohio? What was happening there? And then Brady Cook, could run, but didn't. 2022 was his best year running. He did a great job running the ball that year because that's all he could do. Last year, I just think he was hurt, and it just didn't show, and he could not run. And 23, he ran. He just didn't. It wasn't. To be fair, okay, I could throw it to my 2 NFL wide receivers, my speed demon freshman, or really reliable Mookie Cooper, or I could hand it off to my stud Heisman running back, or I can run the ball. I know what I would do. But Bo provides something I don't think they've had. And I think with the depth of Sam Horn, he can do that kind of stuff. Like, you can be like, go run the football. Go be you. You don't have to be some pocket quarterback. Like, you can be a freaking player. Be a football player. And I think that's what they'll have. And I think Ahmad Hardy's a great running back. I think they upgraded a running back. I thought Nate Noel did a fine job last year running their scheme. Marcus Carroll really disappointed me. I was really excited when they got him, because then they got Noel, and I was like, dang, they lose Schrader, obviously, but this 1-2 punch is going to be amazing. It just wasn't. It wasn't great. I think they upgraded at running back. I think Jamal Roberts as an RB2 is great. But speaking of quarterback, if Bo is a QB upgrade, and like I said, it's not if, he has to be. If Mizzou's not going to squander all the momentum they've gained the last couple of years, we're in recruiting. They're winning football games. Sure, against a lot of the good teams, they're not. 2023 played, outside of bowl games, played 3 good teams, 4 good teams. Tennessee was really good. It was pretty good. They were 9-3. They were pretty good. They're not great, but they're pretty good. And you whopped the floor with them. You played LSU, a 9-3 team. You played them pretty even. and you lost because they had Jay Daniels, who was unstoppable. You beat Kansas State, who was a pretty good team, and you lost. You fought your tails off, and you lost to Georgia. Better men than you have tried to go into Georgia and lost that game. And then last year, obviously, they lost the 3 big games. They played 9 barely bowl teams, and also the 3 games they lost. But if that's where Mizzou's got to live, like, you just have to keep beating teams that you're within margins of. Does South Carolina have more money? Yeah, probably a little bit more money, but Mizzou keeps beating them until last year. You got to keep beating teams like Kentucky. You got to keep beating teams like Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. When the schedule starts to flip, like that, 2026 is going to be concerning. Arkansas, is going to be concerning, just because you're going to flip now. Now you're going to play Texas. Now you're going to play Ole Miss. Now you're going to play LSU. Now you're going to play Tennessee. You're going to play Georgia. Like, there's some real worry, I think, about the 26 schedule if you're the Missouri Tigers, because you've had a cakewalk these last couple of years in terms of relative to the SEC scheduling, and people complained about it. They're not wrong. I'm just tired of hearing about it because you still have to win football games. But when that schedule flips and you got to play Florida, you're going to play Florida in their last year of DJ Lagway. You're going to play Georgia. You're going to play Tennessee. You're going to play LSU. You're going to play Texas. Unless we get to the pods before then, which I doubt, you have to take advantage and the only of this schedule and to continue establishing momentum. And the only way that continues is if your quarterback is an upgrade over what you got last year and in 2022. He doesn't have to be as good as 23 Brady Cook. He might even be better than 23 Brady Cook and just not put up the same numbers or put him up in a different way, just because Brady Cook had 2 NFL receivers. He had a first-round pick. He had Theo Weiss, who's going to be like a mid-round pick as far as I can tell, maybe like end of the draft, but he's still going to be a draft pick. And you had pieces. So Bo has to be better than these guys. He just has to be. I think he will be. I'm actually really excited. The more I hear about him, the more we talk about him. I'm pretty excited. I'm excited for the season. I think Mizzou's going to be pretty good this year. We'll see, but pretty good with kind of the relative of where all these teams are. I think South Carolina's pretty dang good. I think Texas A&M's going to be pretty dang good. I think Arkansas. I think Auburn's going to be pretty dang good. I think Oklahoma's going to be pretty dang good. There's a ton of teams in the country in Mizzou schedule that will probably rank between 17. I know Bill Connolly has Mizzou at 15th, but between 17th and 25th. And it's going to be on the margins, man. I think Vanderbilt's not bad. Kansas isn't bad. It's just going to be on the margins, and Bo Prabula has to be good. So with that being said, I am going to go watch the national championship. Best of luck if your team's in it. Florida fans, you're more likely to find this than Houston fans. This is Missouri Tigers Live. You can watch us anytime, and you can listen to us on your favorite audio platform. Take a listen. Please subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. As we get into the summer, I have some plans for this channel that I'm going to help it grow. Please share with your friends. Guys, this is the voice of college football. We're not going anywhere. We are the voice. So my name is Aggerman. Thank you so much for being here. I will be back next week. I won't feel like I'm in a hurry because the national championship game for basketball literally won't be on. And we'll talk more about Mizzou football. We'll kind of talk about more what rooms maybe the Mizzou upgrade. Hopefully there's some more recruiting news. Hopefully there's some transfer portal news as the portal gets set to open here soon. And that's departures or goings. I don't know if anybody impactful is going to leave in the spring, but it'd be weird. It'd be interesting if somebody does and how Mizzou plans to backfill that. I still think Mizzou's going to go after a guard. I think they're going to go after a D tackle. So we'll find out, or maybe a tackle. They're going to go after an offensive line. Anyway, you guys have a great night. Enjoy the game. Enjoy your week ahead. And MIZ.